Hello everyone, welcome to Live Interactive English. I'm Mike, and here we are for part 2 of the best ways to wash produce. Yeah, those things you buy from the supermarket, you get them home, and before you cut them up, cook with them, eat them, you should wash them. Now, of course, mainly what we're talking about here, and when we use the word produce, what we're talking about are fruits and veggies, or fruits and vegetables. Yesterday, we looked at leafy vegetables and our good friends broccoli and cauliflower, both fairly easy to wash, although leafy vegetables, you have to do it in a few stages because dirt can find many places to hide in a head of cabbage or a head of lettuce. Cauliflower and broccoli were a little easier. You just kind of rinse them under the water carefully. Now, before we get to the 3 other categories of produce we'll be looking at today, we're going to be talking about some of the things you maybe shouldn't wash. Now, these are interesting. You shouldn't wash your meat when you get it home. A lot of people would, but if you buy the meat from the supermarket, especially where it's covered in plastic, it's already wrapped up. If you get it home, you don't need to wash it. Now you might think, well, it smells funny and the chicken's got all this weird stuff on it. Well, yeah, and that can be not good for you, but really, by washing it, you're much more likely to spread that stuff around your kitchen now. For example, if you had your fresh, clean produce sitting there and now you're washing your chicken, some of that stuff could get on the produce or get on the surface or get in a bowl or on a spoon that you're using, so you don't have to wash your meat. If you do want to, you can pat it dry with some paper towel and then it is ready to cook. And of course, some of the other things that you might not want to wash, including beef, fish, for the same kind of reason. So try to keep those things away from your clean produce because you don't want to have some things making other things dirty. You have to be very careful with this stuff in the kitchen. So look up the best science advice, follow it, and you will be clean and healthy, and I'm sure a wonderful chef. Let's look at some other good ways to wash your produce.
Firm produce. When washing firmer fruits and vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and apples, use a soft brush. Many stores sell produce brushes, but experts say using a soft toothbrush works just as well. Use the brush to scrub the produce lightly under running water. After washing, pat the fruits or veggies dry with a cloth or paper towel. Delicate produce. To remove dirt from berries, mushrooms, and other types of produce that can fall apart easily, rinse them under running water and gently rub their surfaces with your fingers.
All right, so yesterday we started off with leafy vegetables, one of the more challenging and tricky things to wash. Well, don't worry, because today we're starting off with the simplest thing to wash that you can buy at the supermarket, the simplest type of produce. Firm produce, firm meaning kind of hard on the outside, and you'll know exactly what I mean when I give you some examples right here. When washing firmer fruits and vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and apples, nice and hard, use a soft brush. Oh, that's a good idea. A lot of people will use their hands, you can kind of get a lot of the dirt off that way, but if you can find a soft brush, those are great things for washing apples, carrots, potatoes, firm vegetables. You don't have to worry about damaging them, they're pretty strong, so this is an easy thing to wash. Now, where could you get one of these soft produce brushes? I'm not sure what they're called. Let's see. It says many stores sell produce brushes. There they are. But experts say using a soft toothbrush works just as well. I would try to find the produce brush because it might take you 10 minutes to wash one potato. And if you're making a lot of potatoes, that would be a big waste of time. But yes, you could use a soft brush, like a toothbrush, or you can find a soft brush, I'm sure, at a store that will work very, very well. How do you do it? Well, simple. Use the brush to scrub the produce lightly without using too much power. and do this under running water. After washing, pat the fruits or veggies dry with a cloth or paper towel. Yeah, or if you're not going to be using them right away, you can just let them to kind of drip dry on the counter, but definitely use a towel if you don't want them to be too wet. This, of course, will be happening after you scrub them pretty well. But again, don't use too much power, but do give them a good wash. Do use that brush. Do get them from every angle, every little part that you can find. When we scrub something, we're probably using a brush and we're washing things quite well. You use a brush to scrub the floor. You wouldn't use a mop. That's a lot of water. That's not really scrubbing. Scrubbing is more using muscle power to kind of push down and really get that dirt off something that's quite dirty. So you can scrub your face if you get home and you want to get off that layer of dead skin. You could scrub your hands if you get paint or oil or something on them. So when something's really dirty and you're using extra power, you're scrubbing it. You must scrub the floor to clean it well because the floor is pretty dirty. All right, let's move on. Now things get a little more difficult. We did firm produce. Now we're doing delicate produce. Yeah, what kind of food am I talking about here? Well, it says to remove dirt from berries, mushrooms, and other types of produce that can fall apart easily. Rinse them under running water and gently rub their surfaces with your fingers. Okay, so now your fingers are the brush. You're being gentle, and this is with strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, mushrooms, things like that. If you used a brush on those, you'd suddenly have jam on your hands. You wouldn't have a strawberry. You'd crush it, you'd break it, you'd rip the skin, because these things are quite delicate, meaning you have to handle them carefully and not force them too much because you could damage or break them. So be careful with those. You want to still wash them, but do it in a very careful and gentle way using water and just a little bit of power. All right, let's take a break and then we'll come back.
Hello， 大家好，我是 Hanny。第一天的课程介绍了叶菜类还有青花菜、花椰菜的清洗方式。那这些是稍微比较棘手、比较难洗的。老师用到 challenging 这个形容词来描述具有挑战性啊，或是困难的，就是把 challenge 后面去 e 加 ing 构成这个形容词哦。好，那接着我们来看看下一个种类是坚实的农产品。我们要清洗比较坚实的那种蔬果，像红萝卜、马铃薯、苹果等等，你可以使用软刷子。很多店家都有卖这种农产品的刷子，但是专家表示用软毛牙刷效果一样好哦。那么清洗方式就是用刷子在流动的水底下轻轻刷洗蔬果，洗完之后就用布啊或是纸巾把这个蔬果拍干。好，单字 scrub 它可以表达擦掉、刷洗，像我们要表达擦掉灰尘啊、擦掉污渍之类的。好，那至于要清洗那种比较娇嫩的农产品时，像是莓果啊、菇啊，或是其他容易散开的那种蔬果，我们就把它放在流动的水下面冲洗，然后用手指轻轻搓洗表面就好了。文中用到形容词 delicate 是形容脆弱的、娇嫩的，还有用到 fall apart， 它可以用来描述物体破碎、散开，它是当不及物用。好，接话课文中。
Common myth. Many people believe that they should wash produce immediately after they buy it, but experts advise against this practice. Fruits and veggies should be stored unwashed until you're ready to eat them, then they can be cleaned and prepared. Washing produce too early can increase bacteria growth or make the food spoil faster. In general, food safety experts say the health benefits of eating fresh fruits and vegetables are greater than any potential risks from consuming chemicals or dirt. Still, if you have any doubts, follow the tips outlined above and take food safety into your own hands.
All right, now we're getting to the end of our article, so let's look at a common myth. This is something people believe, lots of people, maybe most people believe this, but is it actually true? Maybe not. So let's find out what this common myth is, and you guys can decide whether you believe it or not. It says many people believe that they should wash produce immediately after they buy it, but experts advise against this practice. I think what they mean here is you buy the stuff at the supermarket or the market, you get it home, and then you wash it right away before you put it in the fridge. Even if you're not using it today or even tomorrow, you wash it before you put it away at home. This is what some experts would advise, or people believe they would advise. To advise is to give advice. A-D-V-I-C-E is the noun, that's advice. If I say, I think you should do this, in my experience, this would be a good thing for you to do. You're kind of giving a suggestion, you're giving your wisdom and your experience to help another person make a difficult decision. So if I'm doing that, I am advising you. Your parents who've lived longer than you and have done more things might advise you on, different things to think about when picking a university or something like that. When we're going into something we don't have a lot of experience with, it's good to ask someone who knows more. They can advise us, and then we can avoid making some mistakes. For example, I would advise against going out on your own after dark in this neighborhood. It could be dangerous. So yes, definitely want to listen to that advice, that little bit of wisdom. Okay, so we shouldn't wash our fruits and vegetables as soon as we get them home from the market. So what do? It says fruits and veggies should be stored unwashed until you're ready to eat them. Then they can be cleaned and prepared. So basically, we're just trying not to have a lot of wet vegetables and fruit sitting in our fridge for a few days before we use it, because it's not going to make them very good if they just sit there wet. As it says, washing produce too early can increase bacteria growth or make the food spoil faster. I guess you guys have probably noticed if you put, wet fruit or vegetables in the fridge in a bag, a couple of days you take them out and now they're all soft and it's starting to rot and fall apart. It's starting to spoil. When something spoils, it goes bad. We're talking about food here. It's too old, it got too warm, you didn't put it in the fridge. Whatever the case is, you open it up, it smells bad, or you look at it, oh my God, put it in the garbage. It's spoiled, it's gone rotten, or it's gone bad. For example, the milk in the fridge has started to spoil, and I'll say, yeah, because you bought it last September. It's turning into cheese now, and not the good type of cheese, the bad type of cheese that is really just spoiled milk or rotten milk. Back to the article. In general, food safety experts say the health benefits of eating fresh fruits and vegetables are greater than any potential risks from consuming chemicals or dirt. So I don't want to hear any of you guys say, well, I'd like to eat more salad, but I'm afraid of all the pesticides. And nah. You can't say that. You can't say, I get lettuce on my McDonald's burger because that's how I get my salad. Nah. You gotta eat fresh fruit and vegetables, but if you wash them, there should be no problem, and you'll get rid of any potential health dangers. Something that is a potential something, we're using it as an adjective here, it basically means it's a possible something. It could be that something. Maybe it won't, maybe things will change, but this is something that has a possibility. You can see a future. If you hear about a potential job, this is something that, this company is hiring people. This store needs workers. Maybe I could get a job there. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll decide you don't want the job, but it has that possibility. It has that potential, and we can also use it as a noun. For example, this new product has a lot of potential buyers. There's a lot of people who could buy it, but of course we have to see if that will be true in the end. Back to the article. Still, it says, if you have any doubts, follow the tips outlined above in our article and take food safety into your own hands. Absolutely. You can do a lot to keep yourself clean, keep your kitchen clean, and keep your food healthy by following these tips, and I'm sure you can find lots of other good suggestions on the internet. This is a very basic outline. We are outlining things for you. We can use it as a noun, we can use it as a verb, but basically we're giving you just the simple plan, the simple version, a simple description. If I outline my plan to you, I'm giving you the basic idea. It's not a 40-page report. It's just I'm telling you in 1 or 2 minutes the basic idea of my plan. Here's what the mayor said. The mayor outlined his new housing plan in the interview. He'll have a 200-page report done later, but this is the basic idea he is describing. He's outlining. Let's look at our what do you think question. Who is in charge of washing vegetables in your family? How could they improve their washing technique? I am in charge of washing vegetables in my family because I'm the person who cooks the most. I tried to get my cats to do it, but they don't really like water, first of all, and their claws were kind of tearing up all my strawberries and mushrooms. They can't wash those delicate vegetables, so I fired them, and now I'm back on the job. So how about you guys? Who washes the fruits and veggies in your family? Maybe you can try it out too. You've got all the advice you need now to do it healthfully and safely, so please try to do that. Take care of yourselves, your friends, and your fruits and vegetables, and we'll see you back here soon. Until then, bye-bye.
好，接着我们要来破解一个常见的迷思。很多人以为买完农产品后要马上清洗，但是专家建议不要这样做。太早清洗农产品可能会增加细菌繁殖，或是让食物更快腐坏。那么建议的做法就是先储存，不要洗，等到你要吃的时候再清洗跟料理。好，单字 advise 它是动词，表示劝告、建议，向什么来提供意见。那我们可以用 advise somebody against 加上名词或动名词去表达建议某人不要做某事，或者是你可以不用加上 somebody 这部分。好，那么再看到 spoil 这个动词，它是表达食物腐坏、变质，是当不及物用。那么课文最后写到说，一般来讲啊，食品安全专家就表示，食用新鲜蔬果的健康益处大于吃下化学物质或尘土的潜在风险。那如果你有任何疑虑，就照着文中它概述的建议，把食品安全掌握在自己手中，就不用太担心咯。来看单字 potential， 它是形容潜在的、可能的。这个字也可以当名词来表达潜力、可能性。那么 outline 这个动词呢，它是表达概述或是画出什么的轮廓。它也可以当名词去表达轮廓啊、外形、大纲、概要的意思。那老师在解释的时候呢，就有用到 version 这个名词 version， 用来表达版本或是说法。好，这边2个重点，我们进入文法时间。好，我们来看第一个重点是形容词比较级句型用法。我们利用比较级来进行比较时，常常会搭配 than 来使用。那用法就是用形容词后面字尾加上 er， 然后搭配 than。那么这个形容词比较级后面有可能会再加上名词。特别注意就是说，部分双音节啊，以及3个音节以上的形容词呢，则是在前面加上 more 或是 less， 而不是在字尾加上 er。所以它的用法就会是 more 或是 less 加形容词，那可能还会再加个名词，后面再搭配 than。好，那么比较级的前面呢，你还可以用 much、even、still、far、a lot、a bit、a little 等等的副词来做修饰。我们造2个例句。His cousin caught bigger fish than he did. 他堂哥捕到的鱼比他捕到的更大。Health is much more important than wealth. 健康呢，比财富重要得多。好，第2个重点是 take something into one's own hands， 或者是 take something into one's hands， 这表示掌控、控制。像我们说 take matters into one's own hands， 就是说亲自出马解决问题。Take the law into one's own hands， 则是指说不透过法律而自行惩罚，私自来治罪。好，举例来说 ，Instead of waiting for others to come up with a solution，she decided to take matters into her own hands. 她决定亲自出马解决问题，而不是等别人想出解决方法。好，那么以上是今天的讲解，同学别走开，马上回来哦。
Firm produce. When washing firmer fruits and vegetables like carrots, potatoes, and apples, use a soft brush. Many stores sell produce brushes, but experts say using a soft toothbrush works just as well. Use the brush to scrub the produce lightly under running water. After washing, pat the fruits or veggies dry with a cloth or paper towel. Delicate produce. To remove dirt from berries, mushrooms, and other types of produce that can fall apart easily, rinse them under running water and gently rub their surfaces with your fingers. Common myth. Many people believe that they should wash produce immediately after they buy it, but experts advise against this practice. Fruits and veggies should be stored unwashed until you're ready to eat them, then they can be cleaned and prepared. Washing produce too early can increase bacteria growth or make the food spoil faster. In general, food safety experts say the health benefits of eating fresh fruits and vegetables are greater than any potential risks from consuming chemicals or dirt. Still, if you have any doubts, follow the tips outlined above and take food safety into your own hands.
As you make your way through the winding Nine Turns Lane, Qinsheng Lane, the most famous piece of architecture you will come across is Shiyilou. Lukang used to be a major literature center in Taiwan, and the owner of Shiyilou used to invite intellectuals to gather here. The elevated corridor that connects the two parts of the structure passes over Qinsheng Lane. The Chinese characters for Shiyilou literally mean 10 suitable activities, as Shiyilou is suitable for playing instruments, playing chess, writing poetry, painting, admiring flowers, watching the moon, smoking, drinking wine, drinking tea, and gambling. Looking up at the elevated corridor and imagining how writers in the past used to toast to the moon and make poetry while drinking tea is somehow quite touching. Yilou is a small loft that is a part of the Qingchang Historical Residence. Enter from a small alley on the side of the residence, and you will see a tall starfruit tree that arches over a small round window. From the inside of the loft, the tree's leaves cast shadows on the window and create a sense of mysterious beauty. Yilou has a heart-wrenching story to tell. According to legend, Lady Yin and her husband dwelled in Yilou. Before leaving for the city to take the imperial examination, Lady Yin's husband planted the starfruit tree and told her, "Let the tree remind you of me. After the examination is over, I will return at once." However, that was the last Lady Yin ever heard from her husband. Lady Yin waited and waited in Yilou for her husband's return, but died after falling into a deep depression. This may be a sad tale, but a closer look shows that the bottle gourd and ancient currency are carved on the window, symbolizing well-being and fortune. Listed as a county-level historical site, Lukang Assembly Hall sits on Puto Street. Its elegant white walls and gray roof tiles are sure to catch the eye. Lukang Assembly Hall was built in 1928 and served as a space for public gatherings. Over time, the building deteriorated, but was later repaired by Lukang Township Office and transformed into Lukang Cultural Center in 2010. It is now an ideal destination for those seeking the embrace of the arts.